to it. Governor, if you're able to hold the House and flip the Senate today, what is the first order of business at the start of the next General Assembly?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you letting me encourage everybody. Please go vote. It's the most important right we have as Virginians and Americans. Go vote. And I ask you to send me a team in Richmond that can work with us as opposed to fight against us, because we can do even more than we have. And we're going to continue to drive down the cost of living and providing tax relief, just like we've already done. $5 billion of tax relief to Virginians. There's more to do. We're going to continue to stand for educational excellence, just like we have rolled out a statewide intensive tutoring program for our 3rd through 8th graders in math and in reading. We're going to continue to stand for law enforcement to make our communities safe. And one of the things that we continually see is that we have got to make sure that we're recruiting great law enforcement. We've seen the ranks swell, but we're still understaffed. And finally, we're going to work to make sure that we continue our transformation in our behavioral health system. Every Virginian deserves to get help the day they need it, not next week, not next month, but the day they need it. We've made great progress, but we've got a lot more to do. I think all of this has translated into record job growth in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've gone from near the bottom of job growth to the top in the nation in the last 22 months, ranking number 3rd now, with 230,000 more Virginians working today than just 22 months ago. So we are going to hit the accelerator. And I look forward to Virginia being not only the best place to live, work, and raise a family, but to get there even faster.
In your push to get people to vote, I want to give you the chance to answer to what we heard from the Virginia NAACP yesterday regarding voting rights, saying convicted felons who serve their sentences receive no explanation or justifications for their denials. What's your response to that, and is there a new process in place moving forward?
Well, of course, we've been cooperating with the NAACP. We provided them over 600 pages of information, and they're just playing politics right now. We are working as prescribed by the Constitution and reaffirmed by the state Supreme Court to provide every one of these returning Virginians an opportunity to have an individual review. That's exactly what we are doing. We are fully complying with the law. And, this is not a moment to play politics. This is a moment to serve Virginians. And that's exactly what we are doing with regards to those Virginians who are returning back into a productive life. And I believe that every Virginian that has the right to vote should be voting. And that's the job that we're doing.
Governor, I read your interview in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. I've seen just about every national interview you've done in the last few months. I'm not going to ask you the same question that's been asked a million times in the national media, saying that you have a lot riding on this election. But I do want to know if you see it that way.
Well, I believe that Virginians have a lot riding on this election. We have a chance to continue to accelerate all the good things that we have been doing, or worry that in fact we're gonna see progressive left Democrats try to block everything we're doing, which is what they have been trying to do. Luckily, we've been able to work across the aisle, but a lot of those people that worked with us were defeated in primaries, and so this is a chance for us to make sure that we have a productive legislature that works with us and drives Virginia forward. I'm excited by the fact that people around the country are watching what's happening in Virginia and celebrating the great moves that we have made. 24 months ago, Virginia was bottom 3rd in job creation. We were 44th in the nation in getting our kids back into the classroom. We had a 20-year high in murder rate. We were watching Virginia fall behind. And now Virginia's leading. And I think we can continue to lead, if not lead with an accelerated pace, if we just have a cooperation in our General Assembly. And that's why I've asked all voters, send me a legislature that I can work with and we can get a ton done.
Where are you going to be watching the returns tonight? And can Virginians expect to hear from you by the end of the night, regardless of the outcome?
Well, I'll be with the teams here in Richmond. I expect I'll probably end up in Henrico at some point. I've been all over the state in the last 3 or 4 days, and we'll look forward to seeing the returns as they come in. There's going to be a lot of close races, and I expect that many of these races probably aren't going to be determined tonight. They're going to be very, very close. And so I know that our election teams are going to be working around the clock to count votes as accurately and as quickly as they can. And I want to thank all of them for the great work they're doing. But we'll be here tonight, and we, of course, will look forward to the returns when they come in. But I'm also managing my expectations that there will be a number of races, I believe, that will go into later this week.
Hey, finally, on that note, have you heard of any issues at precincts today, or is this election running pretty smoothly?
I think it's running pretty smoothly. We've had a couple power outages and we had one electronic system that went down, but all in all, the teams are doing a great job. And we're making sure that everybody who can vote will vote. And that's exactly the way it should be. These are going to be secure elections. We have paper ballots. We have counting machines. Nothing's hooked up to the internet. We're going to make sure this election is secure and can be trusted. And we look forward to the outcome. And once again, go out and vote and make your voice heard.